We often don't realize that we are caught in a whirlwind of unrealistic expectations, which make joy and happiness fragile. Sometimes even our closest relationships become a source of anxiety and deep disappointment. Maybe you find yourself on the brink of a major event, like a painful breakup, even if the affection has not yet faded. Or perhaps you are dealing with isolation due to toxic colleagues who severely affect your personal life. You might even be caught up in family conflicts, where differences of perspective and awareness are irreconcilable. At such times, you might wonder if there is a key to unlock the door to inner peace. The answer lies in the philosophy of self-discipline, where the concept of detachment shines like a beacon in the darkness, showing the way to tranquility. Detachment is not an invitation to indifference, but a meaningful journey in which we learn to live fully in each moment, without being bound by results. In this video, we invite you to explore the power of detachment through 7 steps, which will help you detach from circumstances, and turn detachment into a tool to overcome storms in relationships, work, and challenges. But before you begin this journey, I propose you a little challenge. Watch the video to the end, and apply at least one of the principles we present to you. Just one of these 7 steps will help you discover yourself and live fully every moment. Step 1. Set boundaries. Setting boundaries for your emotions in this tumultuous life is an important lesson, not only to protect yourself, but also to preserve the relationships you value. Stoicism opens a door to understanding how we can consciously regulate our emotions, not by denying them, but by accepting them and controlling them with reason. By taking the time to understand our emotions, we not only discover the true reasons behind our reactions, but we also learn to deal with them wisely. This requires patience and self-discipline to know when emotions begin to overwhelm reason, and to decide not to allow them to control your actions. There are times when solving your problems becomes a priority, not only to protect your mental health, but also to be able to support others more effectively. This should not be seen as a selfish act, but as part of self-care. The COVID-19 pandemic has taught us valuable lessons about the importance of loving and caring for ourselves. It has highlighted that not only physical health, but also mental health must be a priority. This self-care is not limited to maintaining physical health through a balanced diet and exercise, but also includes nurturing the soul through personal hobbies, time out, and setting healthy boundaries in relationships. In doing so, we create an environment that fosters personal growth, and at the same time, helps others in a more meaningful way. Step 2. Talk to someone you trust. Learning to detach from people and situations can make you feel alone in the world. It is at those times when seeking comfort and sharing with a trusted friend becomes a lifeline, a pillar in the storm that helps you realize you are not alone. Talking to someone you trust is not just advice, but a survival strategy. By opening up and sharing our concerns, or even small joys with someone, we are not only seeking comfort or solutions, we are performing a powerful act of exploring and redefining our boundaries. We are not only seeking comfort or solutions, we are performing a powerful act of exploring and redefining our boundaries. Each shared story helps us build a fortress against the invasion of negative emotions and unwanted situations. Consider the story of Max, who recently felt overwhelmed by a series of stressful situations due to conflicts with co-workers. Who recently felt overwhelmed by a series of stressful situations due to conflicts with his co-workers. Max felt tired and unbalanced, worried that this would negatively affect his ability to maintain the peace and detachment needed in difficult situations. He decided to seek support and contacted Alex, a trusted friend who was knowledgeable about Stoicism. During their conversation, Max shared his concerns and challenges, and Alex listened sincerely. Then, he shared his perspective on how to stay calm in the storms of life, emphasizing that every challenge is an opportunity to strengthen will and intelligence. Through this conversation, Max understood that seeking and accepting support does not betray the principles of Stoicism, but is part of the process of self-improvement and personal development. Max felt motivated and gained the strength to continue his journey with a calmer soul and a sharper mind. This is the essence of Stoic philosophy. Not to avoid the world, but to learn to face it and overcome it with calm and determination. Step 3. Consider the rationality of distancing yourself. The great Stoic philosopher, Seneca, once emphasized, "What you think of yourself is far more important than what others think of you." This statement is not just advice, but a fundamental principle, which Stoic philosophy encourages us to implement. An important step in the process of detaching from people and situations that bother us is to rationally consider the possibility of keeping a distance. Imagine living in a family where every day you face intense arguments and skepticism about the career you have chosen. You find yourself caught up in debates with your parents, and no matter what you do, the feeling of being controlled and uncomfortable never goes away. In this type of situation, rationally considering detachment becomes extremely important. By detaching yourself from these family arguments and tensions, you not only maintain mental clarity, but also protect your peace and balance. This not only benefits the mind, but also facilitates stronger personal growth. You can devote time and energy to positive activities and relationships outside of the family environment, which supports your personal development more effectively. Step 4. Reflect on the consequences of detachment. Although in Step 3, you are advised to detach, in this step you are invited to face an inevitable question. What are the consequences of distancing yourself? This is not a simple step, but a necessary conversation with yourself about the possible repercussions. Something that not everyone is willing to face. It is important to understand that every action and every choice has consequences, not only for oneself, but also for the connections we have in our lives. Walking away is not always a therapeutic measure, and can lead to unforeseen results. Never underestimate the power of human connection. When you decide to withdraw, it can cause pain, both in yourself and in the people you are connected to. Reflecting on the consequences of distancing yourself helps you make more conscious decisions. You may be withdrawing from the noise of the world, but also from the warmth of human connection. Every time you set boundaries, you may be fortifying your inner castle, but you may also be building walls that isolate you from meaningful experiences. At this point, wisdom and patience become your most faithful companions. It is important to stop, reflect, and consider all possibilities before making decisions based on fleeting emotions or momentary instincts. Being a visionary thinker and carrying with you a courageous spirit willing to accept the consequences of one's actions is essential. Every time you decide to withdraw, you remove yourself from the noise of the world. But you could also be disconnecting yourself from the warmth of human relationships. Every time you set boundaries, you could be strengthening your inner strength. But you could also be building walls that isolate you from enriching experiences that give meaning to life. Remember that in the journey of the soul, in the vast world of existence, every action generates a reaction, and every decision has consequences. So, when you are at the crossroads of detachment, do it with the responsibility it requires. In the whirlwind of thought lies the reason for understanding, and in the resolve to face the consequences of our actions, lies our true essence. Step 5. Get away from that person for a while. Why is it necessary to distance yourself from a person for a while? Because, during times of stress and pressure, often we humans get caught up in the whirlwind of emotions and immediate reactions, without taking the time to think calmly and objectively. Especially when emotions become difficult to control, we can lose the ability to see things in an impartial way, and therefore, react in ways that do not reflect our true essence and values. In this context, creating a temporary distance, a space to breathe and reflect, becomes essential. Imagine that you and a close friend are having a heated argument due to a difference of opinion. You both feel angry, and every word and every action only makes things worse. In those moments, continuing the conversation would only add to the misunderstandings and cause deeper hurt. Instead, you decide to create a distance by taking some time for both of you to calm your emotions and think about the situation from a different perspective. More importantly, reflecting on how you reacted could be the most crucial step to reconciliation and a greater understanding between the two of you. Step 6. Learn to be emotionally independent. Developing emotional independence does not mean isolating yourself from others or to stop feeling. On the contrary, it is learning to control your emotions and not letting others manipulate them. This independence gives you the strength to face challenges without letting the opinions or actions of others affect you deeply. It also allows you to maintain healthier relationships, as you will not be emotionally dependent on anyone for your happiness or peace. Step 7. Accept uncertainty. The last step in the process of detachment is to accept uncertainty. Life is full of unpredictable, challenging situations. And we often desperately seek clear answers or solutions. However, true detachment means being at peace with the uncertain. Accepting that we cannot always control or foresee what will happen. This acceptance allows us to live more freely, without the constant burden of worry or fear of the future. In short, these 7 steps will guide you through a process of detachment that will not only help you find inner peace, but also help you live more fully and consciously.